I stole a technique from Half-Life 2 for my indie VR game to make sure that players would see a very important explosion. So in my VR game Jet Island, which you can go play on Steam right now, after you defeat a boss, you shoot out of a tube at high speed and get launched up in the air. And while you're up in the air and you can see the entire world, it's very important that you see this generator tower thing explode and then see another explosion way over here. You need to know that those two explosions are linked. But there was a huge problem. You're way up in the air and there's so many cool things to look at, so a lot of times players would be looking off in the other direction when the explosion happens over here. So I stole the exact same technique from Half-Life. Even though that was a desktop game and this is a VR game, it worked exactly the same. I just had the explosion happen when the player is looking at where the explosion needs to happen. So the direction that the player is looking is actually what causes the explosion, but the player has no idea. They think that they just happen to see it. And this technique worked perfectly. Every single player always sees this explosion and it just worked great.